Is that better? Did that help? Am I now is YouTube now live? Or did I maybe I had to go over there separately and confirm that it was streaming there. Is that better? I hope that's better. Trying to learn this. Yay! There we go. Okay, good. Well, no wonder no people weren't joining. They didn't see me there. Okay. So, I'm trying out a few new things. For the people who are on Twitch, if anyone's interested, I don't know how to do this, so forgive me. Forgive me. Um, yeah, I'm much better, Long Beach Dragon. I'm over the withdrawal. I'm just trying to avoid smoking. Uh, for those folks that are on Twitch, there's a way to like I guess subscribe using you Amazon Prime if anyone has it. I don't know how to do it, but if you want to throw some of your Sammy Lammy, hello, sorry Sammy Lammy, I didn't actually start the YouTube stream. My apologies. I'm just trying to learn how to do this. If anyone wants to send me their Bezos bucks, I would really appreciate it. I don't know if you can do that, but hello Sammy Lammy. But if you can, that'd be fantastic. I have to still kind of do some more stuff to set up my Twitch. Um, Sounds good. I don't have a sub button. Okay, I'll fix that then, JMac. I must not be doing something right. I'll figure it out. Okay. So guys, if we get one super chat, I will put on the jester hat, just one. And then I don't know, free, I'll put on the collar. And if we get, I don't know, after that, I'll maybe put on some makeup. I'll figure out how to do that, JMac. I'm not sure how to set up the sub button, but I'll figure it out. Okay. So, all right. Well, we got some stuff to do today. Let me see here who we all have here now. We got Sammy Lammy, perfect. Okay. Happy Labor Day, by the way, everyone. One of my favorite holidays, even though it's not celebrated terribly much, where we are. Okay, Resident Union Thug. Hello, Resident Union Thug. Matt Guy's here. Hello. So for everyone who just came in, again, I'm trying out something new. I'm dual streaming on Twitch and YouTube. So I know the video isn't great right now. We'll figure it out. Kimberly, welcome back, Kimberly. Happy Labor Day, Resident Union Thug. Resident Union Thug, your name being perfect for Labor Day. Okay. All right. So if we get one super chat, I'll put on the jester hat. Just one little minuscule little super chat, and I'll put on the jester hat. If we get three, I'll put on the collar, and then if we get more, whatever, I'll put on the makeup. Okay. So we got some things I want to talk about. First of all, happy Labor Day, everyone. Everyone should be grateful of the labor activism in the past, which has given us a lot of the things we have today. One of those things is a 40-hour work week, 8-hour workday, child labor laws. Hello, Tiago. Hello, welcome back, Tiago. Lots of other things have that the labor movement has given us in the United States and everywhere in the world. We need to celebrate that. In the United States, it's kind of a muted holiday. There isn't as much celebration. No, Altiego Brando, I am not gonna kick you from chat. Okay. 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 Thank you, Meowzord. Perfect. Okay. Thank you for that. Please stay, Altiego Brando. Okay. I'm not gonna. This stream is open to anyone of any age, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Workers' comp. Thank you, Resident Union Thug. You would know that workers' compensation. All these things came from a lot of times, very vicious labor struggles in the past. Oftentimes, very violent. Just something to think about. Yeah, you're right, King Alo. I feel the holiday has lost its meaning. People just view it as a day to barbecue. Yeah. And remember what we've talked about, folks, repressive desublimation, where things that are supposed to be kind of defiant and breaking the status quo and stuff end up being sort of integrated into the culture and are no longer a source of subversion. You kind of experience that with Labor Day for sure. Um, uh, and I know a lot of like union people do celebrate it. It is paid time off, by the way, Sammy Lammy. Most people do get the day off. But a lot of folks don't parade or there's not that much open celebration here because we're a capitalist hellhole. But anyway, so just something to think about. Okay. All right. So guys, I have some things I want to talk about. First of all, again, if we get one super chat, I'll put on the jester hat. let's I this is kind of unrelated to Labor Day, but it's something I kind of was thinking about and I wanted to talk with all of you about. Um, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly, Sammy Lammy. It is. Okay. So guys, let me move now to the next thing I want to show you. So I'm going to pull up this now. All right. So I know that maybe this screen is a bit, I could move this around so you can see it. I'll make my face a bit bigger so you can see. There you go. A little smaller. There we go. Okay. So I just wanted to talk about a little bit about mental illness here. Now, as Donald Trump likes to say, I'm a weaver. I like to weave my words, and people say it's great because I weave them together and it makes a whole. Okay, so I'm kind of going to do some weaving here, but I hope you get the overall point I'm trying to make. It's kind of an artistic attempt at explaining something in a way. And so let's talk a little bit about mental illness, okay? And it kind of runs in my family. I have clinical depression, ADHD, and I have been occasionally told I'm on the autism spectrum, if any of you couldn't tell. Okay. That being said, so mental illness is fascinating to me. Uh, and I'll explain why. So I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about some anthropological observations on mental illness. I'm going to go through multiple slides. They might each of them. There's going to be sections with kind of different topics, but they all kind of weave together to form a whole. A whole. Okay, so let's go through these together. Okay. All right. Um, I'm trying to see. I can't really see if I do get super chats now because I don't think I have that pulled up here. I just want to make sure. Uh, if I read sharks and bad, yeah, exactly. Okay, okay. So I'll detach this chat so I know that I can actually when I do get a super chat, so I can put on the hat if I need to. Okay, there we go. Um, pop that up there. Go back to this. Okay, so uh, 1 second. Sorry, I'm trying to work this out now that I have this. I have much more stuff on my screen now because of the um. There we go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And then I will make that a bit smaller so I can see it. Okay. Whoop. All right. Okay, guys. So here we go. Um, so this is what we're gonna do. Uh, so let's talk a little bit, okay, about some things related to mental illness. Okay, so let me ask you all a question, and please tell me in chat if you want to, if you're near the computer. Who here feels like everything around they're always breaking everything? Like, it feels like you buy something and then pretty soon it breaks. Like it seems like every day there's something new that breaks and you have to buy a new one. And you may have often thought that you're very clumsy or people have told you you're clumsy. And you just feel like, well, why is it that nothing I ever own do doesn't function right and kind of breaks? Okay. Resident Union Thug, yes, you say you're a tornado. Okay. Yeah, yeah. All right. Does anyone else sort of feel that way sometimes? I know I do. Like things always just seem to break. Like I got like earbuds recently and then like I swear within like a week they weren't working anymore. I had no idea if I had done something. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, all right. Do things yeah. Yes, Sammy Lammy. For me, at least for the clumsy bit, most days at least something breaks. Exactly. Okay. That's fantastic. Death died today. So it does happen to you, um you're good at fixing things. King Alo, not just physical breaks objects either. Like I break relationship friends without trying as well. That's fair, King Alo. Hey, Alyssa's here. Hey, Alyssa. By the way, folks, if you want to join if you notice, I need to change the background. There are a few folks in here now that have been members long enough that the color of their jester hat has changed. I need to change the background so that it's not white. But if you want to join and become a member on my channel for as little as 99 cents a month, you can become a member and you get access to all these cute little emojis. Um, and I have not yet, Alyssa, but I'll get to it. Okay. Um, uh, yeah, there you go, Liz. Okay, so you can for little 99 cents a month, you can become a member and help support the channel, or you can join me on Patreon. Blah 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 blah. Okay, and if we get one super chat, I'll put on the jester hat. Okay, all right. So um, Matt Guy, thank you, Matt Guy. Thank you for the super chat, Matt Sci Guy. And there we go, folks. We already got one, so I will start a new goal here. If we get 3, I will put on the jester collar. Actually, well, I'll say 5, but it'll mean 3. It'll mean 3. Okay. All right. This a bit. Here we go. Collar. So jester hat's coming on. I no longer have to stop smoking because I've stopped smoking. So okay. Collar circle. Yay, jester hat. All right. Let me fix this. Okay. Now let me answer. Um, Hey, it's okay, Alyssa. It's okay. Thank you, Alyssa, for that. So that counts as 1. We will, if I only need 2 more, and I'll put on the collar. All right. But of course, Alyssa, I'm gonna make you all pay me to put on all my Chester stuff. All right. Anyway, okay. There we go. Okay. So to answer Matt Saigai's questions, any suggestions on overcoming addiction? Also, mental health not good with UK protests and Islamophobic. FYI, I'm an atheist. Matt Saigai, that is a very hard question to answer. There are a number of things to help with addiction. I mean, I'm kind of trying to get over an addiction to nicotine. Um, I have a support system. You definitely need a support system. You need people to hold you accountable. Sammy Lammy, thank you, Sammy Lammy. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. That brings us to that brings us to 2. We only need 1 more, and I'll put on the collar. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. So yeah, and everyone, if you don't mind liking the stream, if you haven't already, that'll help get more people in here. Thank you very much, Sammy Lammy. You've finally gotten paid. Fantastic. Okay. Sounds good, Oz. Sounds fantastic. Welcome, Oz. Welcome. Okay. So I'll get back to this. And by the way, Matt Seig, I'm sorry. I don't want to I know, right? Fox Emblem, hey, Fox Emblem's here, exists, and as always, things are happening. I know, right? Okay, Matt Saigai. So addiction is a big problem. Okay, my big thing here is you need to have a support system, and you need to be in an environment where you're comfortable and you don't have all these extra stressors. And I know that's much easier said than done because let's acknowledge it. Right now, the world is a very stressful place. Um, I guess do your best. You're right. It's very difficult, Matt Saigai. But good luck to you. I don't know if it's you, but yeah, good luck. Because I know how that is. Oh my God, Fox Emblem. I want some baby back ribs. How dare you not invite me? Okay, so for the folks that hear, we're talking a little bit about different kinds of mental health issues, or some observations on mental health. I unfortunately, Alyssa, apparently I haven't set up the Twitch subs yet, so I'll have to do that. And then after I do, I'll let you all know, and then I will gladly accept your Twitch subs. Okay, all right. So, anyone else feel like things around you are always breaking all the time? Like, yeah, like you buy something new, it breaks within a week or a couple weeks. It never seems like you can own anything for too long without it breaking. Every week seems like something new. Thank you, Resident Union Thug. Okay, well, we're already there. We're already at the collar. Okay. There we go. Oh, I feel better already. Okay. So, okay, guys. Okay. So, this is great. This is great. Addiction runs in my family, says Kingalo. And I've dealt with it too. The biggest thing is that addiction thrives in isolation. Yep. Absolutely. That's why have a good support system, have people around you who will hold you accountable and support you. Um, yeah. Okay. Now, all right. So I will Alyssa, you said we're oh gosh, that sounds delicious. After we're done here, I'm gonna be go eating some food, so I'm very excited about it. Uh, okay, so guys, going back to this, I want you to know that a lot of people feel that way, and there's actually some symptoms that are apparently linked to, for example, ADHD, including clumsiness, breaking things. Well, so that's interesting. The issue is something called planned obsolescence. Okay, planned obsolescence. And as you all know, I'm kind of on the left. Okay, if you didn't know, um, this is something that capitalist enterprises do. They didn't used to do it as much, but now they do it a lot. And the idea here is that they make things so that they break pretty quickly. It's called planned obsolescence because they're doing it in a way where they're planning it to break. Okay, they want it to break. And why do they want it to break? Because, well, if it breaks, then you will have to get a new one. All right. And so a lot of things that we own are based off planned obsolescence. For example, like earbuds, even iPhones, though not as much iPhones, but like they have batteries and internal electronics that go belly up after a pretty short amount of time, and then that makes you have to buy another one. And that's with a lot of things. Okay. Which is why a lot of us might oftentimes feel like we're clumsy, we're not paying attention enough. But to be honest, they have been made to break. Okay. So it's just something to think about that companies do planned obsolete. Yeah, they do, Jonas. You're totally right. Welcome back, Jonas, by the way. Yeah, it does. Yeah, they absolutely do, Alyssa. As the batteries, especially in an iPhone, will degrade over time until you have to get a new one. So just be aware of that. Don't be overly judgmental of yourself. Okay. Um, yeah, Matt Saigai, 100%. Yeah, and Matt Hasaiga, those headphones, I would bet that those were made with planned obsolescence. Okay, in mind, the idea that they should go belly up after a set amount of time. You'll notice I have a new headphones because the ones I started streaming with broke pretty quickly. I didn't do anything bad to them; they just stopped working. Okay, this is done on purpose, and then we are often our society has been built in a way. Joy Cons, 100% death die today, and uh, a lot of times in our society, we've been taught um, that we will burn that we need to be more careful. You're just being lazy. You're not thinking before you act. Okay, these are cultural things, and that can be very detrimental to our mental health. But it's been constructed so that things break. It's not really made to be handled by humans. Um, okay, so just something to think about. Don't be too hard on yourselves when things around you break. For those that are new to chat here, I just wanted to remind you all that I am now streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. I haven't been able to set up the subscriber feature on Twitch, but I will after we do this here. Um, so I apologize. I know the video isn't great, etc., but we're trying to do that. Sammy Lammy, you're right, and that's as a matter of fact. Thank you for reminding me, Sammy Lammy. Sammy Lammy says, "I miss the times when I could buy replacement parts instead of having to replace um, the whole fridge or whatever." Okay. Yes. And a lot of these things, yes. Thank you, Mauser. A lot of these things literally are made now so that they're all contained within a case. So you cannot replace the parts. So you have to buy a new one. Okay. Um, so that is all part of planned obsolescence. It is a purposeful thing. Okay. That companies do so they can make more money. Because it's not good for profits. If you buy something and it stays around for too long, no one's gonna buy another one, okay? Right, JMac, 100%, okay? So, yeah, replaceable cell phone batteries. Yeah, okay, we don't have those anymore, and it's very interesting, this is actually it's a relatively new phenomenon, basically after the 1950s, planned obsolescence became very big and popular, and if anyone here owns anything from the 1950s, hopefully there's no lead in it, but a lot of the, like, for example, kitchen appliances from the 1950s work just as well now as they did at the time. They're extremely durable, okay? And there's a lot of very durable things from back when that were not uh, yeah, yep. Alyssa, you're totally right. That's why Instapot is sort of bankrupting because they're pretty high quality. So just be aware of that. It's just so don't always be too hard on yourself because we're talking about mental health. Um, Yep, you're right, Matt. You're right, Matt. Like a lot of times they do it where they will. So Matt Saigai says companies design products that need to come into market 10 to 15 years from now, and the current product is designed such that they fail before the new product is launched, so that people buy the new one 100%. And that's another big thing that they do. There are some companies though that will actually make it so that you will need more than one because it might break in the meantime. Um, yep, Sammy Lammy, 100%. Okay, so again, we're talking about mental illness. That's just one small thing I wanted to mention before we get to some other stuff. So don't be too hard on yourself. Obviously, yeah, obviously be careful with stuff, but I mean, even if you are, a lot of these things will break anyway, okay? And it's really frustrating. Okay? Okay. Now, so that's again, we're kind of doing a weave. I'm weaving some things together to get a whole here, okay? Uh Um, yeah, you're right, Mad Sci Guy. Yeah, yes, Alyssa. As a matter of fact, even houses, a lot of like the mass-produced houses in big neighborhoods, they're not really used with the greatest materials. They will start kind of falling apart pretty quickly, which is one of the reasons why it's really dangerous that we're having more severe weather events due to climate change because a lot of houses are poorly constructed. Um, yeah, absolutely, Meowzord. Exactly. So Meowzord says that he bought a standard mixer from a flea market made in the 1960s. That thing is like a World War II airplane. 100%. 100%. Oh, Alti, fantastic. Alti, you're active in the Discord, but I never really see you in stream. I'm glad to see you here. Very glad to see you here. Alti says, "Sup, sup. I love this topic." Yes, Alti, please do, because I actually worked in mental health for a while too. Um, uh, Yeah. Yep, Alyssa. Yep. Okay. So let's talk a little bit. So that was the first thing I want to talk about. That just obsolescence. Okay. Now let's talk about some cultural dimensions of mental illness. Okay. Now, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I worked in a group home for teens with severe mental health concerns and behavioral problems for a while. It was very correct, Alti. It was a rough job, but I loved it. It was a great job. Um, and I have a lot of interest in mental health because I think our society, fantastic, Alti. I think that our society, a lot of the issues with mental health are not the people who have the issue that have the mental health issue. It is the society. Okay, and let me explain what I mean. We're talking about the cultural dimensions of mental health. Okay, so let me go to this next slide here. Okay. And by the way, folks, if we get no, if we get what, two more, 5 more super chats, I will put on some jester makeup. Okay. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Okay. So this is the definition from the National Institute of Health of what a mental illness is. Okay. Okay. So this is what the National Institute of Health says. A mental illness is a condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, behavior, or mood. These conditions deeply impact day to day living. So there are sort of two parts to this. One, it is a condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, mood, or behavior. Okay. The second part that you need here is that it deeply impacts a person's day to day living. Okay. Technically, a disease is not a disease, or not a disease, but like a condition is not really an issue if it's not affecting your life, right? If it's not causing problems. So that brings me to and that automatically assumes, right? So if something affects your day-to-day living, it means we all live in a society. So things only affect your day-to-day living if you live in a society basically where it actually does affect your survival, right? So I'm going to go on here. I'm kind of setting the stage for what I'm going to be saying, okay? So let's go on to this next one there. So let's talk about schizophrenia a little bit, okay? There's a lot of misconceptions about schizophrenia. Yes. Okay. Okay. Fantastic, Alti. Okay. So, there are a bunch of different symptoms of schizophrenia. This is not all of them, but there are three sort of main categories of mental illness. Okay. Um, okay. Um, okay. Uh, yes. So there are positive symptoms, things like hallucinations, delusions. Okay. Disorganized speech and thoughts. Negative symptoms are anhedonia, where you have trouble sort of feeling pleasure, etc. Avolition, blunted affect, where your face isn't very expressive. You have trouble kind of showing emotion. And then cognitive symptoms, including memory issues, inability to process social cues, impaired sensory perception. Okay, so these are so-called symptoms of schizophrenia. Now, remember what we saw about that definition. It is a mental illness uh, if uh, Alti, I got you, okay. Uh, if it affects your day-to-day living. So right. Um, so, okay. So, and again, folks, I am not a mental health professional, so obviously for any of this stuff, consult a mental health professional, etcetera. Regardless, um, but given what we just saw from that last definition, let's say you were in a situation where you were having hallucinations, delusions, or disorganized speech and thoughts, but it was not hurting your day-to-day living. Would that really be an illness? This is an interesting questions, and anthropologists have thought about this. Sociologists have thought about this, and um, the reason I'm talking specifically about schizophrenia is for this reason. Okay, shamanism. All right. In many different cultures, especially pre-industrial cultures, there are a lot of times there's individuals called shaman. Okay, and shamans they can communicate with spirits in the world. They oftentimes they see spirits and speak with the gods. They will sometimes. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. So positive means this is according to Alta here, things that are added to a person's reality that weren't really there. Okay. There we go. Okay. And negative things removed from it. Thank you, Alti, for that. Okay. Um, so they're shamans. Okay. A lot of these folks, if we were in a different context, might be viewed as having schizophrenia. They talk to things that no one else can see. All right. They believe they can speak to the dead, to spirits, and things like that. And in a weird way, folks, they are honored members of their societies. They are viewed as sort of communicators with the spiritual realm. They don't live hard lives at all. They're oftentimes honored members of the communities. And you're a lot of times, you're kind of born on this, born with this sort of ability to do this, which is very similar. Um, uh, they do things like, for example, like a lot of times, schizophrenia appears later in life, but one of these societies, it's suddenly thought that are suddenly able. The gods have given you a access to their world and things like that, and you become an honored member of society. Now, in our modern times, especially in a capitalist society or even in a partially socialist society, these things are not good because you need to work and you need to slave away in order to survive. So suddenly, if you are hallucinating or experiencing some of these symptoms, um, uh, we it suddenly becomes Alt Diego Brando. Did you go to school with me? Because I did flow vocabulary. You don't obviously you don't. Please don't say if I did teach you, but that sounds familiar to me, Alt Diego Brando. Please let me know. Okay, fair. All right, because I did some flow vocabulary stuff too. But anyway, all right, so it becomes an issue when you live in a society that places a value on certain things and doesn't do this. Okay, so um, there was a famous book written and it's called My Mysterious Son. It's about a dad who has a child who has schizophrenia, and they went through to multiple health centers, doing everything they could. Um, yeah, exactly, Mithril. Okay, I got you, Alt Diego Brando. I got you. Okay, and so and the medicine wasn't helping. They couldn't, no matter what they did, his son couldn't work a job because the symptoms were so severe. And so what he ended up doing is he started taking him to places with shamans, like some Native American tribes, some places in Africa. And the son finally found a place that he could exist without and participate in society and be very successful. And the father, in the end of this book, basically claims that this essentially cured his schizophrenia. The symptoms didn't go away, but it was no longer having a negative effect on him because the societies in which he now was in did not view this as a negative thing. So, this brings me to the question: to what extent is mental health, sort of a mental illness, a society that is failing to integrate certain people into it because it's judgmental? Okay. Or is it just is it like something that's inherent to someone? I would argue that it is not inherent. That a mental health issue is only an issue if the society is refusing to integrate those people into society. Okay, it doesn't mean you're ill. It doesn't mean there's something like deeply wrong with you. It is a social disease. It is something that happens because society does not integrate them in. Okay. So, as a matter of fact, there was a study done by the World Health Organization. And now I want this blew my mind when I heard it, people. Okay. This is what they said. The results after they did the study provide strong support for the notion that schizophrenic illnesses occur with comparable frequency in different populations and support earlier findings that the prognosis is better in less industrialized societies. So the outcome of people who have these symptoms is much better in societies that aren't industrialized. And we like to think that industrial societies are on the cutting edge of mental health treatment and medicine and things like that. But for some reason, when it comes to something like schizophrenia, they just can't do it because it is not about the illness, it is about how the society treats those symptoms. Oh, no, Alti, is my breathing too loud? I might need to turn down the mode of mix a bit here. Might be I might have it turned up a bit too much. Um, so, you know what? Actually, I'll turn down the gain a little bit. I think the gain is a bit up too much. There we go. Okay. Is that a little bit better? I hope my breathing isn't too crazy. Um, yeah, absolutely, Alan. Okay. People with schizophrenia are more likely to harm themselves. It's a bit ASMR. Oh, well then, maybe we can do this quieter and calm people down a bit, okay? Would that be nice? Okay, sorry. Okay, way too quiet. Okay, I'll fix it. All right, there we go. I'll put it back up to 6. Okay, so that's just another interesting thought about mental illness. Okay, all right. And by the way, depression can be a similar thing. There are societies where if someone is experiencing what we would view as symptoms of depression, it would the whole village will come together and support them and aid them, and they won't be expected to work because it's understood that they're in sort of a funk. Um, so just something to think about, okay? So that is the other part here. All right. So again, I'm kind of weaving together. I'm doing a weave. I'm weaving together a story here. We've talked about planned obsolescence. We've talked about the cultural dimensions of schizophrenia. Is that so? Okay. Uh, Gain something near 42. Oh, I will do that then, Alti. I'll do that. Okay. If my, yeah, I'm still trying to mess with a lot of these things here. You know what? Let me see if I can, I'll do that in a second here. I'll try to fix it because I know my breathing's probably kind of loud. Um, okay, with Alyssa, it does with some. It does with some. Okay. Personally don't think it does with all. Um, but we'll give you another example, Alyssa. I think that's a good question. Okay. Oh, I got you, Alti. I got you. Okay. Okay. Um, so sociopathy or being a sociopath. All right. Now, this is kind of a dark one, but in our society, it is actually very beneficial to be a sociopath. There have been studies done that show that something I don't quote me on this. I don't know the percentage. It's something like there is a much um there's for example, um is it Ulti? I'm sorry, it is uh personality disorder. What is it, Ulti? Thank you. Antisocial personality disorder. Thank you. For people who have antisocial personality disorder, there have been studies that show that CEOs have a lot of traits of people with um, antisocial personality disorder. Okay, which is very beneficial to them because if you want to step on people and you don't really have much sense of empathy or have trouble connecting emotionally, it is great for you in our society. But in other societies, like if you are in a yeah, and if you're living, for example, in a hunter-gatherer society that's more altruistic, it's not great to have those traits, and it becomes more of an illness there. So again, it depends on the mental illness. Alyssa, there are a lot of other mental illnesses that I would need to do more research on to have a better understanding of that, but it can be applied to a lot of them. Okay. All right. Yeah, Meowzord, 100%. I have ADHD. I've always struggled having ADHD. By the way, if you're a hunter gatherer, it is great. Um, I know, right, Ulti? So it is great, Meowzord, to have ADHD, especially if you're a hunter gatherer. There are some evolutionary theories that ADHD was great for tribal groups and stuff because just for a number of reasons. But in a capitalist society with a very, very strict job requirements and very controlled work environment, ADHD is not good. Or even in a classroom, right? We tend to have these very structured classrooms. So children who have ADHD will oftentimes struggle in that highly structured classroom. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. It means that the structure should change, right? That the society is not meeting those people with where they are. Regardless, this is a very complex issue. So let's move on to learned helplessness slash depression. Okay. Um, right, Alyssa. I got you. I got you. Okay. So, learned helplessness and depression. Okay. So I have depression. It kind of runs in my family. I'm treated for it, etc. But it is still. You're right, Lee Lane. You're absolutely right. Especially, and also, there's differences between boys and girls when it comes to ADHD. Girls tend to be a bit more subdued in their ADHD than boys. Boys it tends to be more obvious in boys. So a lot of times girls don't get diagnosed as frequently as boys do. There's a lot of really interesting stuff with ADHD. Okay, so all right. Um, so learned helplessness slash depression. Okay, now depression is a very, very common mental illness in the United States. Okay, yeah, please, Alti, please do, please do. Now, there are questions though amongst scientists and stuff about what causes depression. Now, we do know a lot about it. Um, oh, I know, Sammy Lammy. I feel the same way. I get my spouts of depression. Um, Alan W., let's put it this way. Alan W. asks, do you think as a society we are over medicated? Not suggesting we should get rid of SSRIs like RFK or anything. I do think we're over medicated, Alan. And I think it's because instead of fixing a lot of the social problems that are leading to a lot of issues, we instead commodify it into treating those issues with medications. So I think we're over medicated. I feel like, and this, I'm overgeneralizing here. Um, okay. Um, but yes, I think we are absolutely over medicated. And if our society changed, people wouldn't need as many medications. Like, think about, exactly, Alti. Now, think about the pain, for example, like if you're working really hard at a job a lot of the time and it's putting lots of strain on you, your back, your joints, you're going to be in pain eventually. And so, well, instead of maybe making the workplace less stressful, less painful, and less hard on a body, well, why don't we just throw an opioid at that person? Okay. Um, and Mithril, by the way, those two things might be linked. The self esteem might be linked to your depression. Um, okay. Exactly, Meowzord. Extreme individualism means we're not getting mental health support from our communities. Yes, and there's not a community base in a lot of places that are better in like another place. For example, Latin America. There's a lot of better sort of important. Like the community will come together to support people with mental health. We don't have that as much here. Um, it's complicated. Okay, so let's talk about depression now. I'm not going to go too much in the symptoms of depression, but one theory for how our society might cause depression, and there are lots of ways. I'm sure we can all guess. Okay, yeah, and I know the Sackler family should all be in prison. All of them should be in prison and practically got no consequences. One theory for this is that. So let us talk about it now. I'm going to tell you in this next page here. I feel bad showing this because I love animals. This isn't disturbing or anything, but there was an experiment that was done a long time ago on learned helplessness, and it involved dogs. Now they weren't. It wasn't like they weren't hurt. Um, they weren't like harmed. But just to warn you, okay. I always feel bad. So okay, this was called Seligman's experiment in 1967. Okay, and this is what these psychologists did. Okay, uh, they took a dog and they put it into a um this sort of like box. Okay, on one side of the box, and on the bottom of both sides of this box were sort of wires, and they would run electricity through those wires. um Absolutely, bruh moment. Yeah, consumption of antidepressants is directly linked to capitalism, 100%, okay? And I'll get back into this, okay? So, on one side, there was a shock, and a little bit of an electric shock, okay, which would make the dog sort of uncomfortable. It wouldn't like hurt the dog, it would just kind of make the dog uncomfortable. So, the first stage of this experiment, what they did is they left this sort the it this they had this little barrier in the middle, but the dog could get over the barrier. And when they would shock the side the dog was on, um, okay, they would they would shock that side. The dog would just go over to the other side and be perfectly fine, right? Because the dog could just leave the area that's being shocked. Okay. Then what they did is that they closed off that border so that the dog could not get over to the other side, and they kind of let the current run. And the dog at first would sort of like try to avoid it, but over time the dog wouldn't be able to because there was nowhere for the dog to go. Um, Okay. And over time, you know what the dog started doing after it had been shocked for a while and realized it couldn't do anything about it? It started exhibiting human symptoms of depression. It would kind of become lethargic, unmotivated. Exactly, alti. It would not eat as much or eat more, depending on the dog. Okay. It would not bark as much, it wouldn't show as much affection, petting it didn't seem to make it very happy, and, eventually what they did was they removed that barrier, and even then, the dog would not go back to where there was no shock. Okay, it basically stayed on the shock pad because it had learned helplessness. It was like, "Well, it's gonna be shocking no matter what I do." Yeah, Alti, yeah, so I know, I feel bad. I will say, so Alti says, "I like how you said this wasn't anything bad." The dog, I looked it up because I didn't wanna talk about this if the dog didn't get out of it okay, and I looked up the dog after the experiments, the dogs were perfectly fine, they went back to being just the way they were. So I don't want anyone I love dogs, so I don't want to make anyone feel too bad here. The dogs were fine. It wasn't like a Pavlov's dog-like situation, if you know what I mean. Okay, if you know what I mean, if you don't know what I mean, don't look it up, but okay. Um, so the dog basically stopped moving. It had learned helplessness, and it still exhibited symptoms of depression. So the theory here is that when you live in a society where you're constantly stressed at work, where you cannot escape that system where you are constantly stressed, constantly, um I me too, Lelaine, me too. It does make me sad. Where you're constantly suffering, but you can't really escape it, right? Because you need to work, right? You need to work. You need to be in that system to be making money. Over time, you start getting depressive symptoms because you can't escape, right? And even in those times where there might be an ability to escape, you have learned helplessness. It's like, well, it won't matter it doesn't matter anymore. So again, this is another idea of where mental health might be constructed socially and culturally. We might be creating a scenario where people are essentially being shocked emotionally, physically drained, mistreated in a workplace, and they can't escape. And over time, you're going to start developing the symptoms that dog did. Okay. Um, and there's much more to depression than this. If anyone's interested, I posted in the Discord uh, um, sor- sources, I think it was the resources. I posted a lecture by Robert Sapolsky, um, and you'll see that he does a great job talking about depression and things like that. Yeah, long-term unemployment, same thing, Mithril. If you're unemployed for a long time, and you're kind of suffering from that because it can be exhausting. You're constantly having to apply to new jobs. You're constantly feeling judged because you're unemployed. You might end up developing a learned helplessness, which could come across as depression. Now, again, there is much more to this. Okay, much more to this. But that is one way to look at depression. All right. And yes, there are genetic factors that go into things like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia. But that's not the only factors that go into these things. Okay. So this is just an alternate view on some of mental health stuff. I know, right, Alti? Learned helplessness. Let's talk capitalism. And I think um, I didn't see it all see the video. You may have posted it, but I don't see it. Um, okay. So let's go on now to I think the last little bit here. Ennui. This is the last one. I think this is the last one. Okay, one of two of the last ones. Please do, Alti. Please do. I'll get back to right after we're done with this, Alti. We'll watch it. Okay. Thank you, Malzord. Okay, so ennui. I love this word. I don't think it's used nearly enough. All right, I think it needs to become more common in the English language. So, has anyone ever felt so bored, but you really have no outlet for addressing the boredom, so you kind of freeze up and don't know what to do with yourself? And it's kind of a crappy situation to be in because you want to do something, but at the same time, you don't have motivation to, but you're bored. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Um, okay. Uh, so that is, if anyone has felt that, okay, yeah. There's actually a word for it in the English language, and it's actually, I believe it's from French, but it is an English word. It's called ennui. It's that feeling of listlessness. Um, uh, yeah, Cade. Yes, yeah. A lot of people feel this. You're right, Bruh Moment. And Bruh Moment, our resident scholar here, you know about Durkheim, anime, okay? I actually almost use anime here, but I didn't want to get too much into the sociological aspects of it. But yeah, okay. So the definition of ennui is a feeling, this is the dictionary definition. It's a feeling of listlessness and dissatisfaction arising from a lack of occupation or excitement, okay? Now, for those who have felt that before, this can kind of be a sort of a depression type thing, right? Like if you feel listless, dissatisfied, nothing really excites you, it doesn't you're having trouble uh finding anything to get excited about, a lack of motivation. Um okay. And this is called ennui. And what happens, folks, we live in a very commodified society where all of our wants and needs are turned into things that can be bought or purchased. Yes, Jonas. Okay, I feel like Jonas says I feel like young men and teenagers don't have as many hobbies and passions. Yeah, because we have been sort of taught in our hyper capitalist society um, that all you need to do is go buy things. purchasing becomes the way you relieve these issues. Okay. Purchase this to make you feel better, purchase that to make yourself feel better. But it can get to a point where the purchasing isn't helping you, right? You need community. Exactly, consumerism. You need to be able to you do your own labor to create things and things like that. And a lot of young people, especially these days, have been so consumerized and so bought into this commodification because they haven't been taught other ways to, be fulfilled. That ennui is becoming a big problem in our society. Okay, do we all get where I'm going with that? I hope. Um, so that's another thing that might partially be contributing to a lot of the mental health issues we see. Um, Meowzord, I always consult my shaman to figure out what to purchase next, right? Okay. Uh, okay, guys. I'm just gonna check here. I'm just checking some of my settings, make sure. Okay. So, again, folks, if we get if we get 5 more super chats, I will put on the jester makeup. For those that are watching now and would like to make a comment, you can subscribe, and in 5 minutes we'll be able to make a comment. Also, if you'd like to support this channel, here we go. Here comes some more Edward Bernays stuff. If you'd like to support this channel, click the join button beneath the video, and for as little as 99 cents a month, you can get a cute little jester hat next to your name, as well as exclusive member only emojis. Okay, so please do that. Or you can support me on Twitch or on, well, yeah, also on Twitch, but on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. I recently got a new camera, which is not working very well right now, but I will fix that. And I can do that because of my Twitch subscribers. Thank you very much. Okay. So back to this. Let's go to the next page here. Something else that I would always teach my students, but doesn't normally get taught in school. Um, okay. So I know, Alti, but hey, hey, Radon! Happy birthday, Radon! Everyone, tell Radon happy birthday. I mean, you don't have to. This isn't a cult, right? But I'm just saying, Radon, happy birthday. I hope you're having a great birthday. Okay, so let's move on here. Burnout, burnout. Uh, so burnout is a very fascinating phenomenon because we don't do much to address it in our society, and we often blame the person who's experiencing the burnout for the burnout. Some of the I'll explain what it is. If you don't know what it is, I'll explain it here in a second. Okay. Um, okay. But let me show you some of the symptoms here of burnout. All right. And these are two different just graphics I put up here. They don't have the exact same things listed on them, but they both include some things that the other one doesn't. Okay. So so burnout, where you feel exhausted, you're dreading going to work, you're having trouble sleeping, you start experiencing some depression symptoms, you feel like you're drowning in your workload, you have a short temper, and you don't have any time for any non-work related things. You might withdraw from social life. Oh, also, Radon, happy birthday also to your emaciated horse that you're probably riding around because you are the Star Scourge. Okay, Radon. All right. Um, you might feel drained and tired, and your performance might go down. All right. You feel helpless. You might feel like, oh, well, I'm trapped in this situation, and then of course you might turn to drugs or alcohol. All right. Um, Alti, I will get to it. I'm gonna go to Discord after we're done doing this, and then I will do some reactions, and we can watch it. Okay? Hey, me too, Jonas. Me too. I definitely engage in the devil's lettuce for that purpose. Okay. All right. So, that is burnout. Now, what causes burnout? Well, who would have thought? Who would have thought working too much, being hyper stressed at work, working too much, feeling overwhelmed, not having enough time off can do this. Not having a time to let your body decompress can do this. So for those especially who live in America, that just sounds like an average day in the United States because we all work too much. We have very little time off. Okay. Some of the professions that are most commonly associated with burnout are healthcare workers, especially nurses. And teachers have a high rate of burnout. Lots of other professions do too. Now, because our society is set up in a way that causes burnout. And by the way, when you get burnout, a lot of times people will engage in fleeing behavior. Well, where they will literally quit their job, or they'll start being exhibiting more absenteeism, where they stop showing up to work or calling off sick more. And if anyone here has ever engaged in that, well, that is just a symptom of a condition called burnout. All right. And it's because your workload is too much. You're feeling overly oppressed at work. Okay. Um, Oh, Jonas, you are not wrong here. Jonas says American working culture is crazy to me. You guys would probably take a Teams meeting before going into surgery. Jonas, when I was working in a group home, I would see things like that. I'm not even kidding. I would have parents come in who, their child was having a crisis and they'd be on a work call and they would stand outside for 15 minutes while the kid was having a crisis to take the work call as opposed to going in to help their child. So, yeah, 100%. Exactly, Alyssa. Okay. And we have created a society where it is almost impossible to not get burnout, right? And it has a deleterious effect on your mental health. It can cause exactly and ennui plus external pressure. Not great, Meowsord. Not great. Okay. And then you will, and I don't think I posted on the next page here, but I think it's funny if you go to it's not on the next page. When I was teaching, okay, well, I'm still teaching, but I'm teaching all of you. Um, there'd be like schools and school districts um would give me would like give us these things that'd be like how to stop burnout. And you know what they recommended you do to stop burnout? It would be like take a break from work. Uh don't work as hard. Spend more time with family. Go on a vacation. Now, how the hell are you expected to be able to do that? Right? Those are not things you can just do if you work at most workplaces. You're not going to be able to just go on a random vacation. Now, if Winter Linde was in here or okay, yeah, take a break, but don't ask for a break. And if you ask for a break, you better expect them to say no because you have to work, okay? And that is how you solve burnout is you take a break, you go on vacation. But no, we can't have nice things in this culture, so we're all doomed to burnout, okay? Um, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Meowsord, burnt out? Don't forget to take your state mandated 15-minute break. Okay, exactly. So this will happen normally and naturally. And then we wonder why so many people have mental health crises, why there's so much things like that. Yeah, exactly. Benefits on that. Yeah, paid vacation time, but they won't approve it, right? Because they want you there, for example, during the holiday season when it's the hardest for you. Okay. So this is another example, and it's just funny whenever I've been teaching and you've been to like what are depressional development, like how to avoid burnout. The solutions they give you are literally impossible. So it's like, well, I'm going to get burned out. I don't know what you want. Okay. Um, yeah, Macon, I've been burned out all year, so much so that I lost my job last week. Macon, you're not alone, okay? And I don't the reason I'm doing this, folks, I want you to know there is nothing wrong with you, okay? This is not something, and a lot of times we will blame those people, right? We will blame people for getting burnt out. We will say that they're not doing enough to take time to themselves. We will say that, yes, well, maybe you need to work harder or whatever it may be. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. Literally, it is a natural human biological mental reaction to being overly stressed. Uh, yeah, Mithril. Mithril, I could not have phrased it better myself. In the US, people work to live. In Europe, people work to live. Yes. We are obsessed with work in the United States. Um, we should not be, okay? But our system forces us to be in a lot of ways. Yeah, Megan, and I'm so sorry to hear you lost your job. Just know, don't be hard on yourself, okay? Like this is why I'm telling you all this, okay? It's not your fault, okay? It is the work culture. It is the society that is that is to blame here. All right? Okay. I think is that the last? Okay, that's the last slide I have on that. I'm gonna go back to my face here. Oof, meowser, that sounds amazing. Okay, I would love a siesta. Okay, face screen. Yeah, or we could let's all move to Portugal with Tiago, okay? And then we could listen to some great music. Okay, we're back to the face screen. All right, guys. So, um, let me see. Right. Let me just double check here. Oh gosh, the camera's still kind of awful, isn't it? That's okay. I'll figure out how to fix it after we're off screen. Okay. Um, all right. I'm just gonna check here, see if we got any super chats or anything that I may have missed. Okay. Excellent, excellent. All right. So, um, I just kind of wanted to. I hope anyone else like I wanted to talk about that because I know all of our mental health is probably on a wire right now. Um, and just know, like, we live in a society where we have this idea of pick yourself up by the bootstraps or whatever the hell it is. Okay, it's more complicated than that. It's much more complicated than that, okay? And I get tired of people, you all know how I've said that I don't really fully believe in free will, but I think we need to remember that, yeah, exactly, Sammy Lammy. You're right, Sammy Lammy. In the US, people are like, "Yeah, take a break. You know what? Take all the breaks you need. You are now jobless." Yeah. And then by the way, we've talked about social control before, folks. And then in the United States, if you do have to leave a job because you're burned out, oops, no healthcare for you. No healthcare for you. Okay. Um, and other things that make it even harder to leave that situation. Okay. Welcome to the stream. We got a few more people here. Welcome to the stream. Um, Hamina, welcome, Hamina. Welcome back, Hamina. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll move our cult here to Portugal, Tiago. How about that? Okay. Um, Mithril, Jonas is on my second job, which I got in 1987, paid me 30 £3,600 per year. The minimum wage was yeah, and our minimum wage is still at 7.25 an hour. God help us, okay? And by the way, Tiago, you better play us some nice music while we're there. Like we want a soundtrack, okay? All right. Hamina, people on the ground expect me, will brag about working 70 hours a week and expect me to adore them. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel bad. Now, there are some folks who do thrive in like hardworking environments or whatever, but I feel bad. Like, anyone know like the grind culture? Um, Excellent. That's fantastic, Diego. Okay. Alt Diego. Okay. We're glad to have you in here. Okay. Um, uh, so yeah, like grind culture is bad. Hey, Altiego Brando, I agree with you. Brando says, I wish the youth had more power than the elders. Yeah, younger generations are like Gen Alpha and stuff are much more liberal minded. A lot of like older generations, like boomers and things like that, have a lot of pretty destructive beliefs. I'm not generalizing, folks. I know there's some older folks in here, but I agree, Diego Brando. I think once younger people take over, we'll see some changes. Now, Gen Z is complicated. I'll do a stream on it sometime. They've been through a lot, but it is complicated. But hopefully, okay. Um, yeah, Lee Lane, exactly. We needed some sort of balance. Right now, I think it's unbalanced against young people. So we need more balance. We need young people to have more influence. We also need older people with influence. But right now, older generations have almost too much influence. I mean, but this is complicated. But okay. Yeah, yeah, Tiago. I know a lot of yeah. Sorry, I gotta eat. I'm hungry. Okay. All right. Hey, I know, Leland. I know. Um. So All right. Okay, guys. So uh. All right. I will say I get annoyed with I'm sure a lot of you have heard this. There'll be some young people who will talk about like, well, the older people just need to die off. I don't like that. But it is true though that like a lot of especially boomers and things like that, baby boomers, have very conservative points of view. My dad is an exception to that, but it does cause some issues. But regardless, I don't want to judge generations. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Henry G. There are, and by the way, like there are young people who are very far right because they've grown up on the manosphere and things like that. So okay, exactly, Alan. I had to pay for my own college. Why should yours be free? Yeah, and they didn't have to pay for their own college because there was a ton of different things they got to make college less expensive. Um, and so I've been trying to right. Okay, okay, guys. So, what let's do now. Um, what was I gonna okay, I have my face screen up, excellent. Just trying to make sure everything's working here. So, okay. So, uh, unions. Let me quickly talk about unions, and then we'll do some standard reaction videos on Discord, and I'll watch Alti's video that she was suggesting. I'm not sorry, Alti, I'm not sure what your he, she, they. I'm not sure what your pronouns are, but okay. Um, and it's actually kind of funny in chat. I had it set to where it would show what all your pronouns are, but for some reason it's not coming through and it just says unknown. So it's kind of like unknown. Ooh, what is everyone's gender on here? Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So let me I wanted to briefly talk to you all about unionizing. Okay. You should all unionize your workplaces. You should do it. I know it's not easy. And so just a brief little thing here. Um, in order to unionize your workplace, okay, this is Labor Day after all. Uh, okay, Alan, you know what? Then we'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. You know what? Then I'll hold off on talking about unions. I will wait till we watch that video. But first, um, first, let me open up the Discord hijack here. Do you guys like? Let me know, folks. I'm gonna do a first. I'm gonna because I'm trying some new things. I'm gonna ask a poll. Do you guys like having the chat up on the screen so you can see it? Is it good? I know it might be kind of hard to see, but I can change it. Um, okay. Do you like having the chat on screen? Um, okay. So there's three options. Okay, starting the poll. I just want to see what you guys think because I'm trying. Josh, hello, Josh Herbst. Thank you, Josh. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much. Okay. Josh, I was gonna actually, you know what? Let's do this now. So, Josh, so we have a union rep in the room here. I'm very glad to hear that. Josh, would you tell me if I'm wrong here? In order to, folks, everyone needs to unionize their workplaces. Okay, this is Labor Day. We need to remember that we are only stronger together in a workplace. We need to be. We need to uh, organize so that we can at least have some say in our workplaces. There are some great organizations who help with this, like the AFL-CIO. In order to do this, you will need to, I believe, what is it, like 30% of your workers need to sign a petition or whatever it may be. Um, uh, well, hello, Mike, and also hello, Josh. Is that correct, Josh? Am I right about that? So you need to get a petition signed. You'll have to, or at least like 30% of the workers need to sign a petition or like a union sheet that basically says that you can that you want to form a union. And then there's some other steps there, but everyone, I recommend you do. Unionized places typically have higher wages, better benefits. Unionizing is a great way to start pushing back against your capitalist overlords. Okay, or just the owners. Okay, and there are union busting tactics, but gotcha. Okay, Josh Earps, Josh here, 30%, but you generally want at least 60. Okay, so you want at least 60% in order to ensure that when the vote comes, yes, thank you, Sammy Lammy. When the vote to actually form the union comes, that you have enough people. And folks, you can do this in private. Like you don't have to start talking privately with your coworkers. Start getting something going, kind of test out the waters. Um, and again, I am not a lawyer, so I definitely look into this. Try to see if you know any union reps nearby that you could talk to about this. but this is a way to start getting more democratic control over your workplaces and helping improve your so you don't get burned out, okay? Um, all right. Sammy Lammy, please unionize. Ooh, I don't know. Pantaloons. Where I work, we start. By the way, welcome to Resistor, Radon. Thank you for becoming a member. We have to sign a paper that says we can't. Any way around that? I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. Maybe I know I'm kind of putting a bunch on Josh here since Josh is a union rep. But if Josh could answer that, perhaps. Okay. Sammy Lammy, please unionize. It is important. I'm in Sweden, and we use collective agreements, and they make up the minimum wage and fight for all workers' rights. Yes, we need more unions in the U.S., folks. As a matter of fact, folks, there's a direct correlation. Now, correlation doesn't equal causation, but I think we can guess that it probably is causation. Uh, where the correlation is that fewer and fewer Americans were in unions over time, wealth inequality started skyrocketing. Okay, and it's almost a direct. Uh, okay, Uh, yeah, thank you, Lane. It is Lane says also in the US, you're right. We have this cultural norm, and Lane says in the US it's discouraged to talk about what your wages are, but it is totally legal. Okay. Totally. Even if your employer tells you otherwise. And we have this, it's kind of built into our culture. It's sort of an aspect of social control in our culture that it's considered rude and weird to talk about your wages. I wonder why? Because it's been built into our culture because it helps control workers. Exactly. But you can talk about your wages. Okay. Do it. Um, okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to go in now I'm going to see how this poll's doing. Uh, okay. We got about 33% say they don't like the chat on screen. That's fair. But we do got 58% that say they do. So overwhelmingly, people do like it. Okay. Um, you know what, folks? Maybe I'll actually get. I know some folks, local folks that are deeply involved with the AFL-CIO. How about I get someone to come on stream and tell us more details about this? Okay, about how you can actually form a union in your workplace and stuff. I think we could do that. I have family members and such involved in it, so we'll do that. Okay. All right. So now let me go to Discord. Let's see what I can react to. Okay. Yeah, I know he did, Alan. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me see what we got here in reactions. I will watch the one Alti suggestion. Oh, King Lo, I should have known. Yeah. Oh, King Lo, you did post. Wow, what a coincidence! You did post that. Okay. Um. All right. I'm just going to show what King Lo. Uh. Here we go. I'm just gonna. You know what? We'll do this. There we go. Everyone see this? Oh, you know what? I gotta switch my screen. Okay. Here is thank you, King Loafer, but this is perfect. Okay. Um, Alan, I'm sorry, not King Low, Alan. If you look up here, okay, you see here that there's literally a direct correlation. So as red line goes up, right, which is union membership, wealth inequality, the amount of income going to the top 10% went down. And then literally as union membership went down, the top income going to the top percent went up. Okay. Um, Okay, so my point exactly. Thank you, Alan, again for that lovely thing. Now let me do these reactions. Let me go back here. All right. Thank you. Oh, Radon, thank you for the super chat. I just realized. Thank you, Radon, for the super chat. If we get four more folks, I will put on the jester makeup. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, we absolutely, Alan, need a stronger labor movement. Okay. Um, and the unions that exist now can't do it without you guys. It's a rough world out there. All right. Let me go here. So I'm going to find something else to react to. I'm going to react to the one Alti asked me to first, and then let's see here. Let me see how long it is. Oh, 6 minutes. We can do this. Okay. So this is a video. Thank you, Alti, for posting this. This is a video about learned helplessness. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. I know that you can't hear it or anything. I'm gonna fix that real fast. All right, let me get over here. So, and then I'll watch some other ones here. All right. Okay, guys, let me know if it's not loud enough or anything. Okay. Hey, Radon, you can use the emojis now, right? As Radon has now demonstrated, folks, if you become a member for as little as only 99 cents a month, that's like a gumball a month. Oh, I don't know, probably gumballs are more expensive these days. You get access to all those cute little emojis, and yeah, Radon also now has a nice, cute little jester hat next to his name. Okay. Josh says, also, an even bigger benefit to unionizing than the pay are the benefits. Studies have shown that the insurance and pension gaps between union and non-union, wow, are even bigger than the wages. I didn't know this, Josh. Josh, maybe if you're on, maybe you should join our Discord. I'm gonna put this in chat. I would like to talk with you, Josh, because I would like to get a union rep here to actually talk to the stream. I'm gonna let me quickly. Okay, I'm just gonna put here in chat. Uh, Okay. This is our Discord, folks. For those that are watching, if you want to join our Discord, we have a pretty fast growing community on there. Um, okay. Please do. So there is our Discord. Okay. All right, guys. So let's watch this. This is about learned helplessness. Thank you, Alti, for sending it. And let's go. And let me know, folks, if I need to change the sound at all.
Biggest fear for an adolescent is written all the way throughout this text. The biggest fear of an adolescent, Jesse?
Not fitting in.
Is not fitting in. You talked about acceptance. Now, to understand how this happens and how this looks and what this feels like, I'm going to have you do an
Totally triggered by seeing this classroom. No, actually, that makes me want to be back in the classroom. But yeah, that's a tight classroom there. All those teenagers stuck in that room together.
activity. This is an on your own activity, and just this is not to tax you. These are easy things. This is just to kind of get you feeling what we're going to go over. So everybody, if you would take out a short piece of paper. I'm going to pass out these papers, and just keep them face down. And if you would, no one write on these. Write on your own papers.
Interesting.
Keep them face down. Yeah.
No, guys, I'm seeing a lot of popularity here with Josh. I'm so glad we have a union rep here. I will try to organize, maybe even Josh could do it, some way of getting a union rep in here to talk to you guys more about this. Thank you, Radon. Thank you. Thank you, Radon. Okay, folks, if we get, oh my goodness, we're very close. If we get two more, I'll put on some makeup. But thank you very much, Radon, for all your super chats. Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, we'll continue here. Right, Meowzord, no cell phones in this classroom, thank God.
Everybody have one? If you would, just do them one at a time, and I will tell you when to do them. Everybody turn it over. Just do your own work. And this isn't meant to be hard. These are anagrams. Just do the first one only. Go ahead and solve it. An anagram is rearrange the letters to form a word. Just one. Just rearrange those letters to form a word. When you're done, I need to see your hand raised. Okay, keep going. We'll wait. Keep your hands up, please. Just do number one.
Whirl, slapstick, Cimarron.
This isn't meant to be difficult. Okay, put your
Sammy
hands
Lammy,
down.
thank you.
Let's just go to number two.
One more,
Don't worry
folks,
about
and I'll
number
put on
one.
the
Go to
makeup.
number two, solve that one. Again, when you're done, I want to see your hands up. Everybody's hands down. We're going to go ahead and do number three. For number three, rearrange the letters, and as soon as you do, go ahead and put your hand up. Here's what you need to know. You were both given two different lists. This side of the room was given these three words. And left side of the room, here you go. They were given that. What would the word be?
I got to tell you, there's a saying amongst teachers that teachers are the worst students. Because if you were to do this with a bunch of teachers, they would all be trying to guess what the end goal was. So they'd be skipping steps, trying to be like, "Yeah, okay, this is the point you're trying to make. Okay, I don't have to do the steps." And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, "Okay, what point is she trying to make? What is her end goal with this?" Like, so I'm like, "Come on, let's go. What's the end point?" It's anyway.
The second one, they were given lemon. Brian, the word? Melon. They were easy. The trick here was both of you were given the third word, which was the same. The third word was cinerama, which was American. Your first two words on this side of my classroom were not solvable. They were impossible tasks. I'm sorry. I know, but here's what we did this for. I was able to induce something called learned helplessness in the left side of the room very easily within about 5 minutes. I want you to think about what happened to you, this left side of the room, when you saw the right side of the room raising their hands because they already had the task done. What happened to you during that time?
Interesting. Oh, that's
Jordan,
smart.
Felt stupid.
You felt stupid? Okay.
Yeah.
Felt rushed?
Oh, this is brilliant. Oh my God, I love this teacher. So remember, learned helplessness. Remember how I said it's not really your fault, right? She literally gave them an impossible task, and now they all started self-judging themselves immediately when they couldn't do it, even though it was a setup to failure, right? Kind of like in a workplace.
Joelle?
I was even more confused.
You're even more confused because they all got it and you were still struggling. Chelsea? Frustrated. What happened by the time you got to the third word? Because I'm here to tell you, this side of the room is not significantly more intelligent than this side of the room. That was a random assignment. So what happened to show the differences? Why did you have more of a difficult time with the third word, which was the exact same word? Brian?
My confidence was shot.
What you experienced was a term called learned helplessness. How many have heard of the term before? Let me see your hands. Learned helplessness is often used in the academic literature to mean what? Jory?
Basically, they fail once or can't do something one time, and then they apply that to everything in the future, so all the future applications become skewed by that.
And here's the thing, and this is what I want everybody to understand. It's usually only used in the academic research. You'll see it in ed psych books. You'll see it in school textbooks when they talk about
I love
learning.
this teacher.
But I'm going to challenge us to think about how learned helplessness can actually apply to the social scene. Can someone give me an example of how that might look? Tasha?
It's like when a guy asks a girl out and he gets turned down, he's not going to be willing to keep asking girls out, afraid of the...
And he
Yes. Oh my God. See, watching a skilled teacher like this is like watching a cheetah go in for like a gazelle. Okay, like going in for the prey. Like this teacher's about to just, change the perceptions of all these students. It's brilliant.
stops trying. That's correct. Now, I want us to think about girls. We've talked about reviving Ophelia here. I want us to think about how, as we have been going through this book, how does it apply? Think about friendships. Can you induce learned helplessness in friendships? Because it's tough to actually establish and maintain friends. That's a difficult process. Jesse?
If a girl sacrifices her morals once in order to gain like the approval of her friends or a guy, she's more likely to do it over and over.
Thank you, Radon. Let's finish watching this and then I'll put on the makeup, folks, okay? Thank you, Radon. Plot twist. The other side of the room is actually dumb.
Yes, and I'm just going to put this out there just to be explicit about it. If Carl becomes victimized one time in grade school, is he likely to stand up for himself the next time? No. And then what happens the next time and the next time and the next time? What we know that we have been learning about is girls have a cultural pressure to be quiet. Girls have a cultural pressure not to be angry, not to use their voices.
Yes.
And so if someone is...
See now, and if this was a modern American classroom, they she'd get a bunch of angry emails from teachers being like, "You're woke. You're teaching our students things that are woke by saying that girls are, like you see what I mean."
Victimized once, if Allison is victimized once, we can take that same concept of learned helplessness and apply it to social relationships. And so the moral of the story is it's very important for girls to practice and to be able to deal with that failure. Because our gut response, what do we do when we fail? Our gut response is to close down. And once you close down, you do not open yourself up for learning any new ways for relationships.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant teacher. Yeah, why is she indoctrinating them?
There's a lot of layers.
Okay, folks, I'll put on the makeup. 1 second here. Okay. All right. Give me a second here. It's going to be a process. You all know how it is. Right, Meowzor? Okay. I'm gonna put up my face, folks, so you can see me messing up my face here, because I'm sure you're all a bunch of degenerates and you like to watch me suffer. So, all right, let's do this. Oh God, my hair is gonna fall down in my face, and that'll be a disaster. Ugh. Okay, okay. Feel free to keep chatting, folks. I'm just gonna. Oof. All right. Let's see here. What color should we use today? Oh God. Okay. Uh, let me see what I can do. If I can get it open. God. All right. Okay. Do this a little bit. Folks, give me 1 second. I'm gonna actually you've never seen this part. Well, this is only the second time I've done it, Sammy Lammy. We've only gotten to this level one time before. Um, you know what I need? I need something. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna just use my finger for the bottom coat, I guess you could say. All right, so let's go with oh, let's see here. We'll go with some well, red. No, we'll do orange. We'll do orange. We'll do Trump orange. Okay, Trump orange for the beginning here. I'm going to use my fingers just at the beginning because why not? All right. Oof. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Mango Mussolini incoming. Mango Mussolini incoming. All right. Do some of that. There we go. Ah. Ugh. Okay. Gonna take off the glasses now. Get some of the other good side here. This is good. I can actually feel it with my fingers, which will make it easier to do the base coat here. Is that even the word base coat, or is it just like the foundation? It's probably not even a foundation, is it? If my sister would here, she would help me understand what some of these things are. Oh, my drag queen friends are gonna hate me if they ever see this. Oh, there we go. Nice sunburn. Thanks. Thanks. Tiago, you better be complimenting my makeup, okay? You better be complimenting my makeup with that Portuguese you're speaking. There we go. This is disgusting. All right. Oh, I really do look like, oh, you know. Think okay, base coat. Okay, excellent. I think that's what you say for paintings, right? Is a base coat. Well, I am a work of art, so I guess I am a painting. There we go. Okay. Well, I think we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. Oh my God, I look sunburned. Okay. Okay, we're gonna add a little more now, folks. I'm gonna get a towel. I just need to wipe off my hand because who didn't think that through? Give me a second. Okay. Now for some of the more important things here. Let me do a little bit of red on the nose. Little bit of red on the nose. There we go. There we go. A little bit of red. Okay, now for the eyes, which are very important for a jester. You need the good eyes. Got you. Got you, Samuel Amy. Okay. Red. Now we got to add the eye stuff, which will be important. It's very, very important, like I said, but it's also the hardest because I don't have a mirror. We'll try our best here. That's what we got. All right. There we go. I'm trying to look at my. You know what? We're going to just use the finger for this. This will be easier. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. I got a little triangle. Little triangle. Do this side now, too. Little triangle. There we go. That's that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, this triangle needs to go down. Bear with me, folks. I'm sure I'm losing people watching, but just bear with me here. It takes effort to be beautiful. All right, and then maybe a little bit of purple to add a little bit of color. Do a little, I don't know. We'll do some purple around the eyes. Little dots of purple here, like that a little bit. There we go. Sorry, folks. I'm having trouble seeing chat because no glasses. So I apologize if you're saying things that are of vital importance that I am missing. A little bit of purple, a little bit of purple, a little bit of purple. All right, we're almost done. Okay. Let me see how it looks. Not the best, but hey, this is good. Okay, okay. Now I got to put on everything else, and then I'll get back to what we're here for. All right. Boop. Hey, there we go. I missed some parts. Thank you, thank you. All right. Um, I think it doesn't look that bad actually. It looks pretty good. I'm sorry. I did forget one thing. This is vitally important. It's the mouth. Almost. There we go. Okay, that's perfect. All right, I'm happy now. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for the super chats. All right, and putting the collar back on, and we are now in full jester mode. This is perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right. I can see the chats. The great orange face sacrifice. Exactly. We need a name for this cult ritual that we're engaging in. Okay. All right, folks. Okay, we can continue here. We're going to see what else we have to react to. Uh, I know. Look at that. Isn't that the perfect lip? Look at that. Hmm. I can do duck face now and take some Instagram photos. Just like that. Okay. Anyway, okay, guys. Let me see what else we got in the Discord here to react to. That was the learned helplessness video. Um, oh, we got a lot of good ones. Be human. All right. You know what? Oh, I did see one other one way back up here that I haven't react to. I will get to everyone's eventually, but I know that uh, your brethren sent me something. It was a teacher. So we've talked briefly, but there it is. Okay, I'll pull up this one. So this one is okay. So I actually haven't seen this one before. Teachers have been trying to come up with creative ways to. I'll turn the thing back on here too. Uh, Creative ways to teach children about having boundaries and not letting people touch them in inappropriate ways, because we all know that especially in this country there seems to be child predators everywhere. Epstein files. And she this is a video of a teacher. I guess she invented some sort of mnemonic device, which is like a song to teach her students how to what to do in that sort of scenario. And I love teachers when they're creative like this. So let's take a look and see how she is teaching this to her class. Okay. All right. So here we go. It's called Teacher's Private Parts Song. Oh, God. Uh, let's see here. I'm going to make sure I'm getting the right audio here. Here we go. So everyone, go ahead, listen along. And again, I have a feeling I'm going to love this teacher. Okay, so here we go. These are my private parts. No, you touch them. This slaps. Yes. Yes. My private parts. Everyone. Parts. Private parts. These are my private parts. Nobody should touch them. No one should squeeze them. And if you touch my private parts, if you touch my private parts, I will tell my mother. I will tell my father. I will tell my teacher. Oh, I love it. I love it. I don't think your brethren is here, but that is brilliant. Um, Tiago, that is great. That is brilliant teaching right there. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Let me see what else we got here in the Discord. Um, Again, folks, if you're liking the stream and you want to comment, you can subscribe. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Um, oh, that's Patois. Is she Jamaican? That would make sense. Okay. I guess. Yeah. All right. I guess I kind of heard a little bit of an accent there. That would make sense. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, guys. Um, all right, so let me find another one here. Discord. Um, right, I saw some more down here that were good. Oh, I like this one that London sent us, but it's a bit too long for now. Mm, you know, I wish Macy were here. I'd watch some more of these. How about this? I'd really like to. You know what? You know what? We'll do this. Did everyone see how Patrick Bet David went on Jubilee? Now I can't. I can't actually watch those because of copyright, but I think I actually pulled up some clips in case. Yes, I did. Let's watch a few clips from this. Patrick Bet David debating anti-capitalists. Hello, thank you, Mr. Justin Z. Okay. Oh, did you? Oh, I will look into that. Okay. I'll look into the one about Newsom, Alan. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So. All right, so I just wanna do there's some shorts here I can watch on stream. Um,
Do you like to be free to
okay, let me make sure we can hear this. Yeah, I'm sure he is, Alti. I'm sure he is, okay? We all know my opinion on capitalism. I'm a socialist, but I also just don't Patrick Bet-David just drives me insane. I mean, all right, let me make sure we have the audio right here. Okay. All right, so this is just a clip from it. All right, here we go, and I'll probably pause it a lot, I'm guessing. I know this is a shorty, but we'll see. Okay, here we go.
I like to be free, but that's why I'm anti-capitalist.
Well, maybe you are.
That is
100% agree, folks. 100% agree. Socialism is about freedom. It's about increasing and maximizing freedom.
why I'm
North Korea or
anti-capitalist, because
Cuba or
capitalism
Venezuela.
removes that choice.
We got two countries, North Korea, South Korea. One is communism and one is capitalism.
Yes.
North Korea.
I'm sorry, I'm going to go back a little bit. What did he say? He said,
North Korea, South
hello,
Korea.
Olivia Ben.
One is
Hello.
communism.
Welcome, Olivia Ben. Ben, you're over there on Twitch. I think you might be one of the few people over there on Twitch right now. Fantastic. Good to see you here.
And one is capitalism.
Yes.
North Korea's GDP last year was $23 billion.
Are we
There
judging
many companies.
countries' values based
There
off
are many
GDP?
I love her. I love her. Also, of course, he's uh so you'll notice too that he's picking out the most extreme, horrific examples of communism, and there it could barely be called exactly, yeah. And by the way, North Korea has basically been isolated forever. It's been embargoed. It's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard to have a good economy when you're embargoed and stuff. Now, I am not defending North Korea. That is a monstrous regime. But my point here is, he's finding examples that are extremely extreme.
That's
not
because
what
that's
they
a
value
job.
for
Freedom of speech.
our
You can't
humans
like
or-
if
you can have a socialist society. I am double streaming Radon. Um, yeah, and you can have a socialist society that supports freedom of speech and has rights and things like that. 100%
you
you
lived
can.
in North Korea, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing right now. You wouldn't have a
Yeah,
voice. In
there,
South Korea,
Yeah, you guys are right. I I so when I say North Korea, I accept that they have a left-wing origin. We can debate whether they actually are left-wing. Obviously, they're even if they are left-wing, they're hyper-authoritarian to the point where it doesn't matter that they're left-wing. Um, uh, so it is a problem. But I just kind of accept at face because they claim they are. I know it's not really true. It is a totalitarian state. But for example, Um, the Soviet Union was a socialist country, even though it was a horrific socialist country. Okay. Florence, welcome from Twitch here, Florence. Hello, my headphones aren't working right now. Can you chat instead? Uh, by the way, which game do you stream the most? I stream. There's a lot of games I stream. I stream like well, I've only streamed a few games so far, but I like Dark Souls and things like that. Yes, I do stream daily. Yes, I do. Oh, folks, we got people coming over from Twitch. This is great. Um, yeah, no, you're right, Fox Emblem, and that's why instead of getting into that's why I don't like that's why I don't like sort of talking about it because it gets complicated. Regardless, you're right. Okay, they're not if they are socialists, they're not the kind of socialists that I would want to see. Okay, so let's put it that way. But continuing,
I'm gonna give you stats. In South Korea, their GDP is 1.7
South
trillion
Korea is also
dollars,
owned by like 5
70
companies
times,
in total in the entire
70
country.
times better
You
than
think
North
that's something to
Korea.
live by? If you
No,
aren't
what I'm
employed
saying
by
is
the
people
top
wanna
5
be free.
countries,
Do-
you are
do-
practically
do you like to
unemployed
be
in
free?
these countries.
Do you like to be free?
yes, I like to be free. That's why I am pro-socialism because socialism gives workers freedom in their place of where they work. It gives them control over their own labor. It gives you more freedom. It gives you more freedom. And by the way, I think that having universal health care and not having to worry if you're not going to be able to eat the next day are all signs that you're more free, not less free. And I can't stand this argument. Okay.
I'm not going to be free in a country like South Korea where I'm only employed
Do you
in
like
So Fox Emblem, there are large chunks of China's economy that are owned directly by the state, but you're right, it's a mixed system. They also have a bunch of companies that are owned. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. But they also have a lot of companies that are privately owned, especially ones from Hong Kong. But again, it's not. If we do say it's socialist, it is definitely not the kind of socialism I would see.
to be free
companies
to
or
call
no
somebody
job.
out like me? Do you like to be free where you can have a strong opinion? Do you like to be free to have your
I
dreams
like to be
as,
free, but that's why I'm
well,
anti-capitalist.
maybe you are
I love this. I love
That
her.
is why
North
I'm
Korea or
anti-capitalist, because
Cuba or
capitalism
Venezuela.
removes that choice. There is no real incentive of capitalism because the incentive is survival.
if I
when
were
you get
to-
into communism, the incentive is for the common
I
good.
love that. I got an offer for you before we move on. If I were to
Right,
give
Tiago.
you your $2,350, which is the cost to renunciate your citizenship, and I paid you your first class, flight to whatever communist country, and $20,000 to
Name
spend
me a
money,
communist country.
would
You know, it's a funny example because uh, what's funny about this is that there are literally people who flee the United States to go to Cuba to get health care. Um, so yeah, it is. Yeah, some people do literally leave the country to go to places that are. There are people who go to Europe because they have free college. So yeah, literally, maybe she would want to go to one of those places. I mean, now they're not communist. I'm just saying. Anyway, I get it, guy. I know Jubilee is pretty awful. I'm only watching a few clips here. It was a requested reaction, but it's I also like talking about these things. So, oh, dental tourism, absolutely. Olivia Ben, I am in Ohio. That is where I'm streaming from. And by the way, Olivia Ben, anyone else who's here on Twitch, eventually I will do a subscribe feature. For some reason, um, I must not have set it up today. Hamina, yep, it does. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you. Okay, let's continue.
You give up your citizenship to
Name
go
me a
to that
communist country and I'll move
Whichever
out there.
communist country you want to go to.
Yeah,
Cuba,
name-
we
that's
can
not
give
a
you
communist
Venezuela,
country.
we give you North Korea, any one of those you want
Those
to go
aren't
to.
communist countries. None of
Choose any one of them, I'll give you a one-way ticket and I'll fund it for you if you want to. Do you like to be free to have
I
your
like to
opinion?
be God, all right. But also, you notice, so one of the issues with capitalism, right, is that these business owners who have a lot of capital, have a lot of wealth, have a lot more power. And he's proving that. He's like, well, here, let me just get you a ticket, right? He has a lot of power because he can give people things. He can build relationships by literally bribing people, making his point by spending his money. So if anything, he's proving the point there. I'm going to watch one more short from this, and then I'll go on to a different one. I saw this short too. Where did I see it? Um, Feminism tell. God, here we go.
Feminism was one of the worst things that happened in America because it pinned men against women. Do you realize what number just came out last week? Do you know what our child birth rate is last week?
Really quickly.
Wait, do you say that feminism pins men against women?
Do you think that women are so stupid that they've been
No, I don't.
brainwashed? Okay, so you don't think that they've just fallen into this feminist propaganda? You don't think they're idiots?
No, I don't think that. But I do think
Thank you, Olivia.
people can be
But
manipulated and
they're not stupid
brainwashed.
enough to do that because the majority
There
of
are
people
so
are splitting
many. There are so many people that bought into a philosophy.
Yeah, so no, he does think women are dumb. He thinks that they can't. He's guessing that they can't. Yeah. Okay. He's admitting it. He's like, yeah, I think women can't handle making decisions for themselves. I mean, okay,
that
he's
stole
proving it.
decades away from their lives. Decades away from their lives.
I
Because they
have
bought into an
heard of
idea that
Ramsey.
didn't produce the results.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you
I'm
talking
talking about
So-
capitalism
so when-
is the
well-
best economical system
Okay,
that
wait.
provides the best results for people.
But we can't just jump back and forth between claim to claim to claim. So the claim about feminism brainwashing people into being single mothers. How
No,
does
no,
that
I
work?
didn't say. I said feminists
Right, Rick.
originally brainwashed women to believe men are the enemy.
Nope. I've said this multiple times, folks. Do I have to repeat it? Feminism is about treating the sexes equally in terms of rights. Yes, there are some radical feminists out there, but we're talking the through line of feminism is not about treating men as enemies. It's about stuff like that. Olivia Ben, you know what? I'll come chat with you about that because I am still kind of new to Twitch. So I need to figure out how to do those things.
That led to where we are today.
That
Last
has
week
led them to
report
being
came
single
in.
mothers?
Yes, in many cases because they don't need men.
Do you have evidence for that?
100%.
You really think a single mother wants to be a single mother?
Absolutely, we have evidence of
You
that.
think the single mother
The-
making
Oh my
minimum
God.
wage down the road, like
You-
working for some
you-
grocery
due
store,
to the
having to take care of all
due
of her
to the
This
children,
woman also
is
knows what
just
she's
like,
talking
I
about.
just don't need a man.
What
I just
per-
want to be
what per-
independent.
what percentage-
I live in abject poverty to
What
be
percentage
independent.
of the U.S. revenue that we get in you think we use for entitlement programs? What percentage?
I don't remember the exact
What do you think the
percentage.
number is? So we bring in
But it's far
$4.9
less
trillion.
than what we do in private spending.
We bring $4.9 trillion in, okay? The
Okay.
U.S. revenue comes in. What percentage do you think goes to entitlement programs?
I don't know.
What do you think is a reasonable number?
Well, what you're calling entitlement programs, I'm actually not sure what you mean by that.
I'm talking about Social Security. I'm talking
Okay.
about
Social
Section
welfare.
8. I'm talking about any of these.
It's much
What
less than other
percentage-
OECD
what-
countries.
What
That's
percentage do
true.
you think
I don't
it is?
remember
Gosh,
the
she knows
exact
her
percentage,
stuff.
but
I
it's
want
much
you to
less than
guess.
other
What do you
OECD
think it is?
countries.
You think it's
We are
10%,
far behind.
20%, 30%? What do you think the number is?
No, but it's relatively low compared to
But
other
what
OECD
do you think
countries.
it is? Can you guess the
I
number?
don't remember the number off
It's
the top of my head. I've already said that.
68%. How much more entitlement?
68%. Can we
Six-
fact check that?
Yeah, but folks, all those entitlement spendings are paid for through taxes. So again, he's supposed to be a business owner, so he should know that there is money that comes in and money that goes out, and those entitlements are paid for that money that comes in. So I don't really get it. Yeah, yep. Alti,
You can
correct.
fact check that.
Okay.
Please do so.
Please.
68% goes to entitlement
Of
programs.
our federal budget?
No, of
But
the
it's
revenue
paid
that comes in,
for.
68%.
So the capita GDP.
Not GDP. You're confusing the two different things here. actual tax revenue that we get.
Okay, so tax revenue.
68%
Okay, now
of
that we're
it goes
specific.
towards entitlement programs. 68%.
And that's what it's for.
Feminism.
Okay. All right, we'll just stop there. That one was not as interesting as the first one. Okay, well, yeah, exactly. You're right, Leland. It is, we pay into it. Social Security, we pay into it. Okay, it's not like we pay for that. Let me see here, folks. Let me go back here. Let me see what we got. Yeah. Oh, Mithril, you're speaking my language. It is nothing compared to the benefits that corporations get from the U.S. tax dollar. We subsidize some of the wealthiest corporations on the planet. Absolutely. And no one ever, you never hear the conservatives complaining about that. It's always, we need to cut programs for the poor. We need to cut programs for the working class. Never, oh, maybe we should stop giving billions of dollars to the wealthiest oil companies on the planet. Absolutely. Okay, let me see what else here we got in Discord, folks. Uh, mm, oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Mike. That's a really good one, Mike. And so is a lot of good ones here. Okay. I will do this eventually. I'm just trying to find a good one right now. Oh, there's goes Sam Onella Academy and other good ones. Um, okay. I'm kind of being selective here. I'm sorry. Gavin Newsom said that Donald Trump was the leading socialist of our time. I don't know what's gonna. Okay, let's hear what nonsense this is. I got to hear this. Again, thank you, Alan, for sending that. Um, absolutely, Rick Wolves. We have socialism for the rich. That's for sure. Let me see here. I'm going to make sure we can hear that. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what we got. Yep, I know. Okay, God, I know. Let's see what Gavin Newsom says. God help us all. Greasy Gavin himself, one of the very corrupt politician who is very good with he is very good with words, but that doesn't really I mean not even always that, but okay, let's all right.
The hostility to him is quite high, correct?
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
of course, because
why
of some
is
of his
that?
well, for obvious reasons, some of his views. And there's a lot of anxiety around those views. And they could be on issues related to domestic policy as it relates to, socializing, grocery stores, et cetera. It could be on national policy.
Trump Intel, the comparison.
Okay, he's trying to bash Mamdani. Yep, he's trying to bash Mamdani. That's Mamdani's proposal, is to have one socialized grocery store per borough, I think, in New York City. That is not complete like socialization of all the grocery stores. It is a mild socialist policy. And Greasy Gavin here is trying to fearmonger. Of course, because they do. Of course, the establishment Dems have to go after Mamdani, even though he's so popular. And the establishment Democrats can't help but shoot themselves in the foot all the time. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Alti. I'm glad that I don't agree with political surrender. I'm glad he did the gerrymandering counter. But regardless, like if he were to become president, for example, which is what I think he's angling for, he wouldn't change things enough. Yeah, you're right, Alan.
And it's very obvious that you just made.
Yeah, no,
correct.
And we need to make that point over and over and over. I mean,
Hamida,
I remember,
I
wasn't Jeff Bezos out there yelling and screaming that Biden doesn't understand, capitalism? Yep. I mean, this guy is completely perverted capitalism.
Mithril, I've got to pause that. Mithril says McCarthyism has never lost its power in the U.S. Yes, we're still living in a post-McCarthyist era where that fear of communism and socialism is still on the minds, especially of older generations. Younger generations, not so much, but it is still a big issue. So he knows that he can just say the word socialism, and he thinks that will, he can fearmonger doing that. So anyway, Gavin would be Kamala Harris. Yep, yes, he would. Okay. Yep, Alan, 100%. The Democratic Party only exists to stop the left and the right. There's really only one party in the USA, and it's the business party. Both Democrats and Republicans are part of the business party. Don't get me wrong, there are differences, big differences. Like one party is full on fascist at this point, but when it comes to economic issues, not much of a difference. Drives me crazy.
Donald Trump. It's crony capitalism. It's whatever you pay him off, give him a phone call. I mean, these illegal tariffs.
Capitalism is crony capitalism. I mean, anyway,
which we're also in court on. All the things that are happening in this country, it's just perverse that they could be shaping the Democratic Party in the context of the socialist brand, when in fact this guy is the leading nationalist and socialist of our time, Donald Trump.
The hostility to him is quite high.
Jesus Christ. Okay. God damn it, Gavin Newsom. All right. All right, folks. That was a painful watch. And by the way, it's just gross to say that Donald Trump is a socialist. Like, anyway. Yep, Alti, 100%. Our corporate masters control the politicians. That is, I mean, there's. By the way, I'm not just saying that because I'm a socialist. Like all sociologists and political scientists generally agree. There was a study done at Stanford, or was it Princeton, one of the two, showing that the things that get done are the things that the top wealthiest people want, not anything that the lower parts of the country want. So, okay, let me see here. Right. Let's check and make sure I'm not missing anything on the YouTube here. Macy, hey Macy, I'm glad you're back, Macy. Very glad you're back. Glad you're here. Yep. Rick Wolves, I personally think taking billionaire money is more perverse than cheap groceries. I guess I'm weird. Okay, Hamina, I didn't think he actually said that. We are continuing to move backwards if he is. Yep. Mm-hmm. What did I miss? Macy, you missed a lot, Macy, but that's okay. It's okay, Macy. We love you. We love you, Macy. And you can see, Macy, we got the face makeup going on here, so we got all the way to that. Okay, let's see what else we got here on Discord. Ooh. I think that is from Tiago. We might actually watch that. I'd love to learn about the popes. I'm going to see what Lee Lane gave us one here. I'm going to see what Lee Lane gave us.
We got to choke every ginger in town. We can't have gingers.
Oops. Lee Lane, we'll watch this. I don't really know what it's about, but we'll find out very quickly what it is about. Okay. I feel like gingers has a different meaning for this guy. All right, let's see what this is. I have been called a ginger. I know it's Rutrow. Uh-oh. So this one, I've been called a ginger. I know this isn't about gingers. Lee Lane implied that he was referring to another group when he says gingers. So we'll see. Let me make sure we got the audio going on here. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. We'll see what this is about. This, I guess. Okay. We'll start it over. 1 minute. Let's go. Oh, it's an anagram? Oh, I see. Okay. You know what? If it, I'm guessing there is that word. Is that word used, Lee Lane? If it isn't used, I'll still watch it. But okay. Well, I'll watch it. I'm guessing it's not used. Oh God. Okay. Well, we'll see what this lunatic has to say. I'm glad at least he says the word ginger.
We got to choke every ginger in town. We can't have gingers run around Sarita.
Oh.
We can't have gingers. We can't have people with a camera. You put a ginger with a camera, we need to get him out of here. We can't have any of them gingers. And that's basically all I got to say.
Was this like a clanner? Like what? This is so gross.
All gingers should be thrown out of Cerro Vita. Cerro Vita is not the place for gingers.
Oh my God, this sounds like. Oh my God.
So if we can throw out all the gingers and bring in more people like Chief Nolan, he knows what to do with gingers. We saw. He knows how to handle gingers. That's how you got to handle gingers is you put them in a headlock and you throw them to the ground and you break their camera. He had a 4K camera. None of us in Tucson can afford a 4K camera. We have to use 1080 or 720. But he had a 4K camera. You got to break that camera. You can't let anybody with nice cameras like that around Cerro Vita, especially in the police department. So I thank you for what your chief did, and we need more people like him. We need more people in Cerro Vita to choke out gingers. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Mark.
Okay, that was pretty funny. That guy's very clever. Are you kidding me, Alan? Trump is giving Rudy Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Yeah, we really do live in the worst timeline, don't we? Okay, guys. I don't know about all of you, but I'm really hungry for some barbecue. So I will definitely come back on tomorrow. I know I was on for like what, 2.5 hours a day. So let me come back to my face screen here. All right. Oh, the horror never ends. Okay, oh my face. The horror does never end. Okay. So guys, let me just read through these chats here. Oh, Bettina, welcome to chat, Bettina. Newsom may be trying to make a cute argument, but it's not helpful because Americans don't understand. No, you're right. You're right, Bettina. And honestly, Bettina, I think he's trying to talk to the donors. He's trying to talk to the wealthy donors by talking about capitalism and socialism, because he just wants donations from the wealthy folks. They know what those words mean. So he's basically saying to the camera, "I will not let them take your wealth from you. I will not let them do things to the wealthy and the businesses." I suspect that's who he's actually talking to. Alan W., they won't even call out or stand up to stop a genocide. Why should I trust them to defend our right? Oh, I know, Alan. Oh, that's for sure. Yep, they don't stand up for much of anything except for the almighty dollar, the donations. Radon reminds me of the new album Eminem's Eminem song where he said they'll turn a word like ginger into a cuss word. Is that Vader text? Right, kind of, Mr. Justins. Yeah, right. Oh, I'm sorry, Sammy Lammy. Yeah, it is. I get you're right. It is late there. Well, yeah, okay. All right, guys. Let me check the YouTube here. I will come back on for longer tomorrow. I know this was a pretty short stream. Alas, it is Labor Day, and I'm selfish. So let me see what we got. I'm going to check the chat here. Oh, that's beautiful. Alan, maybe I will keep the makeup on for the cookout. Maybe I will, right? Okay, guys. Well, thank you, everyone who contributed, especially. I mean, everyone generally. Oh God, I got red paint all over my hands. I look like I have stigmata, if anyone knows what that is, if you're a Catholic, especially. Okay. All right. So folks, I think you all know what I'm about to say. Okay. Hamina, I read that as "Who's your favorite jester? Who's your favorite jester?" Like you're talking to a dog. I know you don't mean it that way, but anyway, it's kind of funny. All right, thank you guys. I'll have a good. Everyone, please do take some time to enjoy your Labor Days. Try to remember the sacrifices that people in the past have made for some of the things we have today, and that brings me into my final note here. Okay, number one, free Palestine. Free Palestine. Number two, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Okay. And that includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm just some random guy on the internet. You can never fully trust anything I say. And that goes for anyone else you watch on the internet. Get other points of view. Don't enter an information silo. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Secondly, we are living in a fascist moment in this country, not only here, but around the world. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democracies because their democracies are no longer doing things that the people need to feel secure in their lives. Okay, we need major reforms in this country. We can't just diddle around the edges. Is that the right word? We can't just mess around the edges. We need major reforms if we want to see things change. Okay, you cannot stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you. We need major reforms in this country. Lastly, on the wall behind me is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker is a sword from the Civil War. It is rumored to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. Why do I have it back there? To remind everyone that our ancestors made many sacrifices so that we have some of the things we have today, some of the freedoms, women's rights, economic freedoms. We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, folks. Please don't let their sacrifice go to waste, especially on Labor Day. All the struggles of the labor movement in the past have given us some of the things we have today. We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste, and we always must fight for a better future. And on that note, folks, I love you all. I'm so glad to be back. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Labor Day. Bye-bye.